Three in a row!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. 3 in a row. I couldn't have put it better myself, Mr. McGeady. Ladies and gents, nice to see you. Celtic are champions once more. It's 3 in a row. We all knew it was going to happen. It was only a matter of time after Saturday's result against Rangers, but it's official tonight. It's mathematically confirmed. Celtic are champions of Scotland once more, and what a fashion to do it at Rugby Park this evening, under that brilliant tifo that was unveiled at the start of the game of the great Tommy Burns. We've done it in memory of him. We've done it in fantastic fashion, playing football, as they would say it, the Glasgow Celtic way. Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 5, champions again, and it just feels delightful. That delightful that I decided I had to come on here and do a live stream reaction tonight rather than the same old video standard thing, whatever. I'm lost for words. I'm chuffed. I've not even had a drink. This is what I've been drinking. Mac B. That's what I've been drinking. You think I'm pissed? I'm euphoric. I'm happy. I'm buzzing that Celtic have managed to get it over the line once again this season. Because, listen, it's been a bumpy ride. It's not been the perfect campaign. We all know that. But as Neil Lennon put it at the start of the celebrations there, and listen, Lenny seems forgiving on the side there. He was getting cheers, but as Neil Lennon said, you know, sometimes these titles feel a little bit sweeter. Sometimes not running away with it, you know, it gives you that, you know, you had to focus. You had to get that mentality going. You had to find that part of you that was able to dig deep enough to win a league title. And Celtic had to dig deep, even when their back seemed against the wall, even when it seemed that one side of the city thought they had it won. Celtic never gave in. Celtic never gave up. And they showed exactly why they're the top dogs in this country, why they've been the top dogs in this country for the best part of the last 25 years, why they've been the top dogs in this country for every year bar one that was behind closed doors for the last 13. They just showed it. They found that area in them, that area in their mind, that place that takes them to being serial winners, that they do time and time again, that they do year after year. And Brendan Rodgers, the man who left with unfinished business at Celtic Football Club, has come back to conclude that business on his first time of asking. He said at the start of the season, "For my doubters, I'll see you in May." Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? At Celtic Park in roughly an hour's time, you'll see him, and it's May, and he'll be celebrating another league title, his third official title as Celtic manager, technically his fourth, as we all know. He's a man that knows how to do it, and even if it has been rough on the eye at times this season, at portions throughout, we've still managed to get it done. And I mean, the fashion that we've done it today, once again, how's it took us this long to find our rhythm? We've been on fire the last couple of months, and Rangers at the weekend were brilliant. And today, once again, you're looking at one of our best performances of the season. He's reached his final form, Brendan Rodgers. A stadium and a park where it's been infamously difficult for Brendan Rodgers to go and find a result. And he goes there today on celebration day, on title day. And he goes and gives us his absolute best performance from a Celtic side we've seen, guided by Brendan Rodgers at Rugby Park over his 2 tenures. A 5-0 win. Where are you pulling this for, Brendan? Where is that comfy? We're sending the plastic park off in fashion, to be quite honest, by scoring 5 and keeping the clean sheet there this afternoon. Killie never had a look in. They had their wee offside goal. Who cares? It was offside, didn't count. Celtic scored 5. Where have you been keeping it, Brendan? Where have you been keeping it? And everybody today was just absolutely brilliant. You could tell we were in the mood. And, you know, it comes to these kind of games and people always ask the questions, will there be Derby hangover? Will they take everything for granted? Are they going to get too comfortable? This is a Celtic side that for years upon years now have showed you they'll never get too comfortable, that they'll never kind of back down from any sort of challenge or adversity. And that out there today was just, you know, another example of that. 5-0 in a game where people thought we might have just kind of downed it a little bit. You know, you might have took it easy on them. You know, we knew we were going to be champions anyway. No, did we, buggery? We sealed it in the best possible way we could. And Adam Ida, Dyson Maeda, James Forrest, Matt O'Reilly, all of our goal scorers this evening, all deserve a tip of the hat, and so does everybody else. The defenders for keeping the clean sheet, the captain for running the show, Joe Hart for being bloody Joe Hart. Everybody deserves a tip of the hat for the performance and the quality that we've seen out there in the park tonight. It was a brilliant performance, and that's why we stand here able to say right now we are 3-0 champions. I don't know what Chris Boyd was doing after the show. He seems to have cut off the microphone, so we didn't get a good listen to Brendan Rodgers to hear his opinions and to hear what he was saying about the game. But at this moment in time, we don't really need that. We'll hear him loud and clear when he's got a megaphone down in the Celtic way in an hour's time. I'm sure when they've got that drive finished back from Kilmarnock off the M77, we'll hear loud and clear what Brendan Rodgers has to say. It's going to be a full circle moment from the moment he stood in that Celtic way at the top of it, outside the doors of Celtic Park when he arrived last July, to right now, because people laughed at him. People thought he was ignorant, people thought he was arrogant, and people thought he was so misplaced in saying comments like he did, saying that we'd see him in May. Let him enjoy his moment, because he deserves his moment. Somebody I've never doubted for a second, if you know watching this channel, somebody I have backed through the hardest of times this season, and it's at moments like this where I feel so vindicated in backing the manager, because this is exactly what we've been delivered. The job isn't done yet. We've got 2 more games to play. Let's finish it in fashion at Celtic Park in the league this Saturday, and then let's go make it a fucking double the following week at Hampden Park. This is a Celtic team that have found rhythm at the minute, a Celtic team who have found form, which the other side of Glasgow should be fearing. They got let off with one on Saturday past there. They got off with one. It could have and should have been more. Let's take the punishment to Hampden. Remember a few years ago, we went to Hampden, we battered them 4-0 with Brendan Rodgers at the helm. Let's see something like that again. Let's get something like that. Let's finish this season off in style. Let's move forward into the summer with an optimistic look on things, with the board ready to back the manager. And let's build on this positivity, because something's been gone from Celtic Park throughout a large portion of this season. That has been positivity and that has been optimism. And I don't blame fans for that. Absolutely don't. There has been times where it's hard to be optimistic. It's been hard to be positive, because the shite that we've seen on the park in certain occasions and certain performances simply wasn't good enough. But the way that we have ended this season has brought everybody back on a unanimous front, and that's exactly what we need as we charge into next season. That's exactly what you want Celtic fans to feel and where you want us to be as a unit. That makes us more dangerous as a team. And if the board can feel that, if the board can even use an ounce of their brain power to try and put that into our thinking and our methods for moving into next season, we can blow Rangers out the water. And that's exactly what I want us to do. We've got the right man at the helm for it. We've got some of the players to make up a squad for that. I'm really happy with where we are. Wow, my opening monologue has went on longer than I thought it would. I've not even started reviewing the game itself. Hello and welcome in. If you haven't, like and subscribe. If you're watching back in video form, then like and subscribe. Nearly 400 live viewers at the moment. I'm sure we're competing with a few of the big Celtic channels right now. Come over here. Tell your pals to patch any other live stream and get their arse in here. I'm going to be taking your questions and giving answers when I'm done my brief reaction of the game. But it's brilliant to see you all piling in. Some of the familiar faces, some people who are not so familiar faces, so stick around. Let's talk about the game, shall we, as much as we can. I'm trying to check my phone in case anything comes through that needs to be spoke about, that needs to be addressed. If any comments from the manager come rolling in. I mean, Dyson Maida predicted it, didn't he? I love that. Don't know if you can see. There you go. He predicted it. He got it. He got it right. God bless you. God bless you, Dyson. People already making their way to Celtic Park. And this is the thing, you know, before I get into this match reaction portion of today, one thing that really pissed me off earlier in the season, or right at the start of the season, was the people who already forfeited that feeling around Celtic. The people who let their issues leave their positivity leave with Ange Postecoglou, who took their issues out in his departure with the new manager and with the appointment. This feeling that we're getting today, with people already making their way to Celtic Park, this is how we all felt at the end of last season. That should have never left the door. It never should have, and I'm so glad it's back. Hearing Brendan Rodgers' name chanted through the stadium and seeing everybody in celebration on Twitter and seeing everybody just back unanimously happy in one front, one contingent, it makes me so happy. And that's as I said, it takes us into next season very, very nicely. First half then. We were brilliant. We started the game thick and fast. We wasted no time. Adam Ida got on the score sheet very early days. We're probably going to talk about a lot more of these things, you know, tomorrow in a bit more detail, because I know there's going to be a lot of conversation made about should we sign Ida permanently, should we, we're talking about different things like that. I don't want to drag this stream on too long tonight, so I'm going to try and talk about things on a lower level until tomorrow where we can deep dive it. But we started well. Adam Ida made it on to the end of Matt O'Reilly's cross. The pass from Matt O'Reilly was absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely perfect from Matt O'Reilly. And Ida was there to finish. We then followed it up very quickly with Dyson Maeda getting on the end of Alistair Johnson's cross. And then, 35 minutes into the game, James Forrest got on the end of Dyson Maeda's cross. So we got 3 different assists and 3 different goal scorers from very similar goals where we just took advantage of Kilmarnock leaving our men out wide doing what they do best. And that's why Johnson and Maeda ended up with assists, and O'Reilly was in the right position to pick up an assist as well. We had the game wrapped up inside 35 minutes this afternoon. And there's been times throughout this season where we've been up in periods like that. We've been up 2 or 3-0 35 minutes into a game, or we've took advantage of a team very early doors, and then we've made life uncomfortable for ourselves because we've took our foot off the gas. Nah, Celtic didn't do that today. They did not do that. We kept our foot firmly on the gas and we just kept pressing. There was no negatives from Celtic's first half performance, and I think that you could maybe stretch as far to say, not to say it, but on the penultimate game of the season, you're potentially looking at Celtic's best 45 minutes in the league campaign. By the way, thank you to Andrew. Most successful club after the double here for 55. We can start all of that if we like to. Thank you, Andrew, for the donation. You can donate if you choose, ladies and gents. It's in the super chat section. But first half, we were perfect. There was nothing wrong with us at all. I thought everybody put in a great shift. Defensively, we didn't really have much to do, but nobody put a foot wrong. We were solid. Scales, Vickers, Johnson, Taylor, all solid. I thought McGregor was brilliant. But the first half, Matt O'Reilly, I don't go. Please don't go, Matt O'Reilly. Just don't go. I don't want you to go. You shouldn't go. You should stay forever. No amount of money makes me want to see you go through the door at Celtic. Matt O'Reilly got that assist in the first half, and then he added with 2 goals in the second half, which is where we'll move on to now. Second half performance, once again, almost perfect. How many negatives can you take? Even with the substitutes that Brendan Rodgers made in the second half, we kept up what we were doing, we still kept going, and we were bloody brilliant. We were absolutely bloody brilliant. Matt O'Reilly with 2 goals. The first goal of his, an absolute cracker. The second wasn't too shabby either. It was a tidy finish from the opportunity that was carved out for him. But that goal in the 50th minute from Matt O'Reilly was an absolute cracker. He almost burst the net. Everybody was just playing with such a confidence and it was such a cohesive team. It felt like everybody was just singing off the same hymn sheet, and just felt really, really well tuned. And it was absolutely brilliant to watch. 2 quick shout outs for donations, because I don't like not shouting out donations. Thank you, Wizard Mortal, for the £2, saying when's FM back. We'll see. I don't know. Don't quote me on anything. Maybe during the summer though, when we have nothing to talk about. Brodge and Joe is iconic. And then thank you to Stephen as well for the £1. It is very much appreciated. I adore that. Thank you. But we were just, how do you replace a player like Matt O'Reilly when you see what he does out there in the park, when you see how good he is? How do you replace him? His passing was unbelievable. His assist for the first goal was unreal. His finish for his first goal was unbelievable, and his positioning for the third is just brilliant. This is somebody who I'm not scared to say it, and I won't take this back, and I'll never look back at myself and laugh and say it. He's one of the best centre midfielders that Celtic have had in my lifetime. From the Martin O'Neill era onwards, from maybe, the days, it was from the departures of your likes of Petrov and Lennon's. How many centre midfielders can you name that's been better on quality-wise than Matt O'Reilly? He's going to go to the very top of this game because he's that good. We're going to look back on Matt O'Reilly in 10 years' time and go, Christ, how did we find him and how did we keep a hold of him? How was he a Celtic player? He's just so good. He should be playing for some of the absolute best of the best. He's somebody that wouldn't look out of place in the Premier League top 6, which is where we're hearing that Matt O'Reilly will go. And just brilliant. Second half, once again, we were just box office to watch. There was that kind of small slip up. So I've got a really itchy nose. There was that kind of small slip up where we conceded the offside goal. But these things happen. You concede that offside goal and the heads didn't drop. We didn't let Kilmarnock back into it. We just kept going. And we found ourselves better off for it. Kilmarnock never had a sniff. We silenced Kilmarnock, and I don't know about you, but if I was a Killie fan, I'd be embarrassed tonight, going 4-0 down, making it 4-1 in the game, or 3-1 in the game, chanting about child abuse, and being silenced for your goal getting chopped off. What an embarrassment. And I loved it. Well done, Celtic. Well done, VAR, for clarifying that decision for us and making it a good laugh for all of us at home here and the Killie fans being silenced. Thank you to KH for the £2 donation. Really, really appreciated. Thank you. Buy a Joe Hart Snugsy. What's a Snugsy? It sounds almost, I'm not going to get into it. But thank you. Thank you for the donation. We were just brilliant from start to finish in the game today. It was a performance carved out and delivered by champions. It was a performance which is entitled us to our celebrations. And it's a performance that just gives me so much confidence and optimism moving into the campaign. And listen, I know there's a big game to go, and this cup final can really be a mood setter. If we were to lose on the 25th of May, don't let it get you too down. Don't be too disheartened. Be happy with the direction we're heading in right now. Look at the performances that we've seen today, what we've seen against Rangers, what we've seen against Hearts the week prior. Look what we've been building in this closing portion to the season, and be happy and be positive and be optimistic about where we're going. I know that the likes of Matt O'Reilly are going to leave the club, and it's going to be solid to replace. You think to yourself, how do you even possibly replace a Matt O'Reilly? It seems nigh impossible to replace somebody the quality and the standard of Matt O'Reilly. But Celtic will get there. Brendan Rodgers will get there if he is properly back. There is genuinely a direction, I think, to be positive about right now. And that is the main thing. That's the thing to be happy about at the minute with Celtic Football Club. The fact that feel-good factor has returned, that people thought went away with Ange Postecoglou. It's not away. It never goes away. And that's the beautiful thing about being a Celtic supporter. Because even when you go through the worst of it, you end up finding yourself again. You end up picking yourself up again. I mean, Christ. Look at what happened a few years ago when the doors were shut at Celtic Park. It looked like recovery was going to be impossible. Then we found Ange. He came in and he absolutely transformed things. Next thing you know, we're top dogs again where we belonged. We weren't down in second for too long. And people thought that would be the case. And Rangers fans thought it would be the case with Brendan Rodgers coming back through the door. And guess what? He sits there at Rugby Park tonight being the manager that leads us to 3 in a row. So just always be positive about being a Celtic fan and positive about the direction you're going to head in, because the journey is always fun and the journey always ends up being taking you to the best sort of destination. So thank you to Connor for the £5. Thank you, I really appreciate that. Saying yeehaw, hail hail, quality all over the pitch, we came alive. Yeah, everybody was brilliant. Matt O'Reilly, obviously the standout performer, but Adam Ida obviously now starting that conversation again about whether or not to sign him permanently. I love him. I'd sign him up, and I'm going to probably talk about this in depth tomorrow on the channel. Sign him up, bring him in, bring him to Celtic permanently. I want him here. I love him. Make him part of the ride. He clearly loves it at this club, and he's given it his all. He's played, he's barely kicked a ball for the full 90 minutes, and look at his returns. He's a different type of striker to Kyogo. He's a useful fella to have around, and he clearly loves and gives his 100%. Get him in. Pay the $5 million. Sign him up. Also, thank you to Stephen again. Second donation. God, generous tonight, Stephen. Champions again. Hail, hail. Let's get the manager back. Absolutely. Enough yapping for me. Let's do questions. Let's get you guys involved. I need to fix my mic. The wire's pissing me off. Right, ignore my big arm. I've got the skinniest arms known to man. Thank you to everybody who's donated and such, by the way. It is genuinely really, really appreciated. On a night like this, especially, when you should be saving your money to go and buy yourselves a half bottle of Buckfast. So I appreciate it. I really, really do. Let's do questions and answers for 10 minutes before I wrap up this match reaction tonight. Let me just close up my match reaction part of this stream with a brief sentence saying, God bless you, Brendan Rodgers. God bless you, Tommy Burns. God bless you, Celtic Football Club. 3 in a row. Have that, Rangers. Get it around you. Right, questions and answers. Let's do it. keeper suggestions. God, we're not getting into that tonight. Not getting into that tonight. Talk about the result and the greater ramifications. But I do appreciate the questions nonetheless. Let's see. Back the Brodge, man for the job. Get it trending, folks. We need to spend. I love how the Brodge. Like I'm a humble man, right? I am a humble man. I am, right? And I'm not one of the guys that are like, I was the one that started that or whatever. But the Broad just caught on this year, and I'm fucking proud of that because that was me that started that, so I'm having it. If somebody can find prior proof of somebody calling them, I've been calling them the Broad since fucking 2018. So I'm glad that's caught on. Get it trending. Back to Broad. Is Brendan God in disguise? He might be, Dougie. He could be. He could be, for all we know. Tip Fan Man says Celtic would not have won the league unless Liam Scales stepped up when he did discuss. Listen, Liam Scales deserves his credit where it's due. Is he the single-handed reason that we've won the league title? Absolutely not. But he has played a major role in it, and despite having games where he's not been good enough, and despite the conversation surrounding whether he should be a starting centre-back player for Celtic next season, he still deserves a hell of a lot of credit for the shift that he's put in this season. He worked for his new contract, he got it. He worked for his place, he's kept it. He's been a major part of the success that Celtic have found this season, whether you like him or not. Listen, I'm not the world's biggest Liam Scales fan, but I'll give him his credit where it's due. 100%. Let's see. Do I think he'll do a good job in the window? I hope so. As we said, back him, and we'll see. What's this? I'm convinced Rodgers told us to intentionally play shit for months to give Rangers confidence, only for us to win it comfortably. Get it so far up, yeah. Well, yeah, you know. Apologies if anybody's offended by the language in said comment, but it's title day. People are getting a away murder. I'm not offended, by the way, not at all. just in case, some people do get offended by these things. Let's see. Where does this rank in league title wins for you? One of the best for me. That's a good question, Lewis. It's up there, 100%. It's got that personal sweetness to it for me because I stood firm in my call to bring back Rodgers, and for a while I was wondering, am I going to look like the fool? Am I going to be the one that's been on YouTube championing this man to come back for the job, and then he comes in and he loses it and it doesn't work out? For a while you had to think that, but I never doubted him for a second, and it's sweet for me because I love Brendan. He's my favourite manager in my lifetime at Celtic. He always has been and always will be. He's my man. He's my guy. And to see him go out and win that title in the fashion that he has, yeah, it's not been pretty at times, but it makes it sweet that we got it over the line, and we also gave them a false sense of hope, thinking that they could maybe do it, and they didn't. So that also makes it sweet. There won't be many in tonight, I'm assuming. Thank you, Dean. Bring this one up. Do you think the board will spend more since the league was so close? If Celtic won it easily, the board wouldn't see need to spend this summer. Look, listen, but it has to be... I know that Celtic have been good this season against Rangers. More than good. They haven't beat us once. So, the board still need to look at this season and understand that things are never going to be a walk in the park if we don't take it seriously and we don't take a challenge as a credible threat. Rangers put up a challenge for a good few months there. And yes, they crumbled at the end like they normally do, but there's never always going to be a guarantee that team will crumble at the end one time that luck changes. Don't know when. Could be next year, could be 10 years, could be 30 years. But the board need to respect the fact that Celtic are obviously in need of reinforcement and improvement, and they need to back the manager. We're getting 60 million quid for getting into Europe next year. We're probably going to make about 30 million quid on Matt O'Reilly. Talk about other expenses and such coming in. You're talking about Celtic Football Club making £100 million or more over the next couple of years. That has to be money that's reinvested in the squad and reinvested invested in the manager's ambitions. That's what that has to be. Thank you for your comment, Dean. Also, thank you. Sorry, I do, if you don't watch these streams regularly, I do prioritise the people who don't donate, because it's only fair. Would I play a Fringe team against St Mirren? No, I wouldn't. Absolutely not. I would maybe rest a couple of key hitters. The likes of Vickers. Is there a need to start him when we know he's been touch and go with injuries this season? Maybe just give guys like him a rest. But no, don't let the team skip a beat before Rangers. No, absolutely not. I would rotate throughout the game, make all 5 of our subs wisely, I wouldn't over-rotate, though, to the point where it's a fringe team. You've got to get minutes in the legs and people match ready for Rangers and keep that rhythm going. We're playing really, really well. We've hit our stride for the first time this season in recent weeks. Don't disrupt it now, would be my point to that, Blake. Thank you for your question and thank you for your donation. Let's see. Stephen saying, I said in the channel 6 weeks ago that we would win the league when they were top with 2 points. I also said Rodgers was leading them into a false sense of security. It was all part of the master plan. It's a gorgeous thought, Stephen, isn't it, if it was the case? I don't think it was intentional to give Rangers that false sense of security, but if it was, it would speak volumes to the absolute evil bastard mastermind that Brendan Rodgers is. It would speak volumes. And I wouldn't put it past Rodgers, to be fair. Good point here. Obada money, O'Reilly money, Champions League, Mikey Johnson money, Frimpong as well. Apparently Frimpong isn't leaving Leverkusen now, but we'll see how that goes. And yeah, look at all that money. All that money with a 70 million lying in the bank. Go out and spend it. Go and spend it. I'm telling you, see if Desmond sits with his hands in his pockets playing golf with fucking DJ Khaled this summer, I'll be raging. I'll be fucking down there protesting out at Celtic Park. Let's see. If there was a game or a moment that won us the title, what would you pick? Oh. A game or a moment that won us the title. Do you know what? The 3H game at Ibrox. And I'm gutted that I was in Philadelphia at the time and I never got to properly enjoy it the way that I normally would. That game was it. That was it there and then. Them parading their wee shitey team round the Ibrox Park. Their fans going jubilant over the fact that they drew with Celtic at Parkhead. That was the game for me that I went, we're winning this league. They were what guard of honour and round the park. I'd be fuming if we drew with Rangers at Parkhead in such a tight, manner. And the fact that, we knew what had to be done. That lured them into a hole where they took things for granted. And it lured them into the results that they dropped points afterwards. The St Mirren game and the Ross County game and the Dundee game. That one. And Clement coming out and saying it was a moral victory. Guess what's a fucking moral victory, Philip? Guess. Us winning a league title, you baldy twat. There you go. I'm gonna come across as very bitter tonight. Listen, this is what happens when you win the league. I'll be back to normal tomorrow. Unbiased Ryan will return on the channel. You can't help it. But that is a moral victory. Us winning the league. That's a moral victory. But that moment for me, that game, and watching them getting paraded round with their fans going crazy. Yeah, that was it. Serial losers right there and then. They need to go through a complete renovation if they want to come and challenge Celtic next year. And listen, I welcome the challenge. I would love the challenge, quite frankly. But they're nowhere near it right now. And their manager seems like he's not got the mindset for it right now either. So they need a complete, change. Mark is always here. Hello, Mark, saying we must spend every penny we take in from Frimpong, Matt and others. Every penny. Yep. I mean, we won't, will we, Mark? We won't, but we should. And we should invest heavily. And we should go and make a statement. We should go and show that we're the top dogs in this country for a reason, and that we're going to continue being the top dogs until the day Rangers get fed up of chasing us. That's what I want to see. But we're going to, by the way, over 600 live viewers right now. I really appreciate it on this passionate evening of celebrating Celtic's 3-in-a-row title success. I'm going to wrap up tonight's stream here, but we will be back on the channel tomorrow to break it down in much more depth. What I will say is, whether you're drinking tonight or not, I'm not personally, I'm on the MacP. If you're drinking in celebration tonight or not, if you've cracked open the malt, if you're celebrating 3 in a row, savour it, enjoy it, drink it in, and raise your glass to Brendan Rodgers and this Celtic side, because we've done it even when people didn't want us to do it. When people wanted Rodgers to fail, we stood tall and we brought it back home. We won the trophy because we're the best fucking team in Scotland, and we have been for a very, very long time, and people might want to live in denial about that, but guess what? We always will be, as long as we want to be, and we are the absolute best, and we're coming for that big number 55 that Rangers made such a big deal of as well. So get prepared, it's going to be great. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your night. Celtic are champions. God bless you all. I'll be back on the channel tomorrow. And hopefully the passion doesn't die from me, because I'm enjoying feeling like this. God bless you, Brendan. I'll see you in a bit. Hail, hail.